I am so excited to be here at KFWE 2021. We are going to make some amazing schnitzel with tabbouleh and trina, and I know you just got a good demo from my friend Lior Lev Sarkaz, so we're going to do this right now. I hope you guys enjoy it. We've got a couple things going on right now. We've got our schnitzel, which we're going to use chicken. In this little batter, this rub, we've got the egg wash, we've got paprika, we've got hawaj, which is a Yemenite soup spice. And I've been soaking the chicken in that for a couple hours. What's cool about this is that the egg wash actually acts as a brine. So it tenderizes, it marinates, and you don't really have to do that much to it. You can use whatever spices you like. I'm a big fan of the Yemenite soup spice. But you can use like paprika, you can use, I don't know, tons of black pepper. You don't have to use any spice at all if you don't want, even though I think you should. A little biased, as is Lior. All right, and we're just gonna roll this in a little bit of matzah meal that I actually mixed with sesame seeds. I like a ton of the sesame seeds in my matzah meal. You can use nigella seeds. You can use even whole cumin seeds, which are really, really awesome as well. You're just gonna kind of shake it off. All right, and then drop it in. Now I know that you guys are like, oh, you didn't flour it first. That's totally okay. I like with this egg brine, you basically don't need any extra flour, and there's nothing worse than cutting into schnitzel and having all of the breadcrumbs sort of fall off. So I think when you do that, when you sort of eliminate that flour stage, the flour egg wash breadcrumb, you eliminate the first stage, you get this really nice, really sort of thin, really, really crispy exterior. All right, and I'm just going to do this. We're going to throw this in. I'm frying at about medium-high heat. I want this to be really golden brown, and I want it to be nice and even. I don't like it. You know, my mom is an amazing chef, but she used to sometimes fry the schnitzel too quickly, and you'd get this sort of like charred exterior with not a lot of even brown, and I really want that. So, well, these guys are cooking up. I use chicken breast. You can use a little chicken thigh if you want, sliced up really thin. You can also use some chopped up eggplant or sliced eggplant, sliced zucchini, even sliced pumpkin would make really, really, really fantastic schnitzel if you want to make it vegetarian. All right, let's put these guys down. Okay, now, while our schnitzel is frying, we're going to whip up a little bit of our kale tabbouleh. Now this kale, I cut and I've salted and I've sort of massaged, okay? Which I know sounds kind of cheesy, but honestly, if you cut and salt and move the kale around, it breaks down a little bit and gets really, really nice and not super like crispy to the point where you choke on it. I always hate that about the kale salads, right? We always end up with these like pieces stuck in your throat. You're trying to have like an important lunch meeting with somebody, and you're also like, it sounds like you're coughing on a hairball. We don't want that with our kale. So you do a little pre-salting, a little massaging, works out really, really nicely. We're gonna chop up walnuts in place of bulgur wheat, right? Which not only are crunchy and delicious, and thematically makes sense since we're going to use apple, so it's this sort of North American take on tabbouleh, but now it's also gluten-free, which is, you know, which a lot of people are. So you can use walnuts, you can use almonds, you can use cashews, sunflower seeds, but they make a really nice sort of bulgur wheat replacement. The walnuts I love because they're really, really sort of rich and kind of earthy, which I feel like is what you get from good bulgur wheat. So we're going to chop this guy up, nice and fine. We're going to throw this in. Okay, we're going to add a touch more salt. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of apple. And this is what happens when you try to open an Israeli restaurant in Pennsylvania. You don't have cucumbers and tomatoes most of the year, so you have to do things like, you know, kale and apple tabbouleh, which end up working out pretty well. I mean, we get kale, you know, 12 months out of the year, which is fantastic. Walnuts make sense. The apples, you can always substitute for something else. Corn would be really, really good. In the summer, obviously, tomatoes too. Even like fava beans, I think English peas would be really good. But what you want is this really green, sort of bright salad. And you can achieve that with lemon juice and kale or mustard greens. It doesn't have to just be parsley or dill, even though that's very traditional. So we're going to do this apple. We are going to hit it up with a little bit of lemon juice and then a little bit of olive oil, which I actually got Lior, speak of the devil, to send me from his dad's farm in the Galilee. So now that we're all really good friends with Lior, you can ask him to hook it up. Tell him, Moshe, send me some olive oil from the Galilee. It's really, really good. These are Suri olives, so they're like kind of bitter and kind of funky, but really, really delicious. We're going to add a lemon right here. Okay, flip this guy around. Nice, we'll save that. And then we're going to add actually a little bit of lemon juice to this bowl. Right here, we're going to make a little bit of tahina for the schnitzel, right? Because tahina sauce with schnitzel is like, I don't know, like yin and yang. Like we need this. We have to have this, right? We don't do dairy with schnitzel, right? Because it's chicken. So the tahina is super, super important. We just add a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of cold water, almost equal parts to the tahina, because we want it to be nice and airy and really saucy. A little bit of ground cumin. All right, which is optional, obviously. I really like it. Right, while that's happening, let's give our schnitzel a flip. Look at that, beautiful. Nice and crispy. Turn this guy up a little bit. All right. So, I'm going to go salt. And then we're just going to whisk this up to make a sauce that is slightly runny, which is okay. And you guys know the thing about tahina is until you start adding liquid to it, it's kind of, it's delicious in its raw form, but it also does not look super appetizing. All right, so you want to whip a nice amount of water into it. Out of here. Good. Give it a taste. Really, really good. Super bright. I'm just going to grab a spoon and do just a little bit of this. I'm going to scrape the rest of this. Now there's a fine line, like what you don't want is super thick. You want it to be sort of saucy and a little bit runny, but you don't want it to be straight water, okay? All right, but this is really good because not only is this a good sauce for the schnitzel itself, but this mixed with some of the kale while you're eating it is going to be fantastic. Okay, so sauce is ready to go. Stick this over here. Let's give this kale salad a nice little toss. Beautiful. Yeah, like I said, the massaging really helps this out. This really sort of softens it, but it'll also hold the dressing really, really nicely. And what's nice about kale is that it's so hearty, you can make this even a day ahead. I wouldn't add the apples or anything like that, but you can make this a day ahead, which would be, when you're prepping for a big party, to have the ability to make a salad in advance, I think is really useful. And not only that, like a soup or a stew, this tabbouleh actually improves overnight. Okay, so we've got our kale salad ready to go. We've got our tahina ready to go. Let's take our schnitzel and give it a quick drain. Use this fork. Okay, just for a second. You can see nice and even. Boom. Set it away. Throw the kale down. over here. All right. And then we will do a little bit of our tomato sauce. So simple. If you guys want to add some garlic to this, you can. If you want to make this in a food processor, you can. You can actually just add a little bit of garbanzo beans to it and make really, really good silky hummus. But that is it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Guys, thank you so, so much. One more shot. I'm going to eat this in a second over the sink. If you guys need these recipes, all of them can be found on kosher.com. Enjoy the rest of the expo, and I will see you soon. Thanks.